About 100 other people still have their home, but they don't have power. Luke Jones is live in Queensgate at the site of one of the problem spots. Luke, this has been a long time without power.
Yeah, crews have been working on this particular problem since 6 a.m., so now we're coming up on 18 hours here. It's hard to tell because of how dark it is, but past these trucks behind me, we actually saw entire utility poles just laying down in the road. In fact, all of Bud Street at Dalton had to be shut down today, has been for some time now. Citywide, though, the situation's improving. Only 100 people without power from a height of tens of thousands.
The same site on street after street in the tri-state. Trees tangling with power lines, chopped up pieces of wood piled up on curbsides, and cars crushed under the weight of hundreds of pounds of timber.
The winds for us were the biggest challenge, blowing a lot of the vegetation, trees, branches that came down into contact with our lines.
Duke Energy crews worked painstakingly to bring back power, work frequently hampered by the very winds that took it out.
Certainly overnight in the dark with the winds picking up, there was rain overnight. It was very challenging.
The height of the problem was at 2 a.m. when Duke says 27,000 customers were without power. By this evening, it was fewer than 100, but much of the damage remained. Duke reports wind brought down 40 utility poles. Power lines were down in 50 different places. As bad as it sounds, Duke says it could have easily been worse, with more damage and more people in the dark.
And Duke is crediting technology, which now self-detects and corrects a lot of those problems that previously had to be fixed manually. Now, these crews here, as you can see, still working, so there were need for some linemen to come out and correct those problems themselves. And as you heard, they encountered their fair share of issues. One other thing we wanted to note, Duke says they've been monitoring the weather conditions days in advance, so they made sure they had crews working overnight. They made sure they had enough crews working today, and as a result, they didn't have to call for any outside help. We're live in Queensgate tonight. Luke Jones, Local 12 News.
A little bit of good news there, but hopefully this will be all back and running for everyone. Thanks, Luke.